Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay, good. I'm using okay, that's fine. Can you see the slides?
Yes, please.
Okay. So we looking at our first topic, okay, of the IGCSE Information Communication Technology. And under that, we have types and components of computer systems. So before we can fully exhaust this topic, we will need to go through the following, which is hardware, software, analog and digital data, central processing unit, internal memory, which is the RAM and the ROM, input and output devices, backend storage, so your storage devices that you back up stuff on, operating systems, and types of computer, which is the desktop and mobile computers. And I'm pretty sure we covered this in our IC3 syllabus. So this will
Yes.
more or less be like a revision because you certified in level 1 and 2 of the IC3 GS6. So yet to do the level 3. That's why I'm saying that for the IGCSE, I'm not taking nothing less than an A star. If you get anything less than that, then I will be very angry with you. Okay?
Okay.
Good. So let's proceed. What is hardware in your own words?
Like the physical components of a computer.
Uh-huh.
That's
So the physical component of the computer. So can you give me some examples of these physical components of the computer?
the keyboard,
Okay, so keyboard is one.
mouse,
Mouse is two.
monitor,
Okay, monitor. Yes.
the system unit.
System unit. Good. Uh-huh. Next.
Oh, what else is there? Do I need to go into like the really in-depth, like inside the computer as well?
Yes,
Or
yes. So tell me everything you know.
okay, so the hard disk drive, I think.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Graphics interface card or something.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Meaning at least you paid attention in our IC3 lesson. I like it. Continue.
What else is there? I don't know if it's SSD or SD.
Yes.
SSD.
SSD. Uh-huh.
There's another one I'm forgetting. Something. Yeah.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine. At least you've done well. You've not forgotten most of the stuff that we did in IC3. So hardware, we say, is the general term for the physical components that make up a typical computer system.
Okay.
So any part of the computer system that you can touch and feel falls under hardware. So this, like I said, is going to be a revision for you. Okay. So the keyboard you mentioned is one. Your mouse is two, which is the touchpad.
Yes.
Your webcam. Now we're having this training through Microsoft Teams, and your camera is on. My camera is on. I can see your video. You can see my video. Correct? Good.
Yes.
Then we have the monitor. So how are you seeing all of these? The PowerPoint presentation, you see it on your monitor, right? Then if for one or two reasons you want to print out something from your system, you use the word printer, correct? Good.
Yes. Yes.
Then we have the plotter. Have you heard of the plotter before?
Yes.
Yes. So the plotter here is used to print these big balls that big billboards that you see in town. So when the presidential candidates, the NPP, the NDC, they are campaigning, and even BIS school, they have big billboards in town advertising the school. So we use the plotter for that. So all these, hardware devices, these physical components of the computer can be categorized into two. So we have the input,
And the
which
output.
is the one on my left, and the next is what?
Output.
Output. So we've got devices that sends information, that sends signal to the computer system. And we've got others that brings out information. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Good. So all of these are external to the computer system.
Okay.
Okay, so the external hardware devices, we can group them under input and what? Output. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Then you also mentioned that the system unit. So when we take the system unit of a desktop computer, the chassis, when you open it, then you go into the internal component of the computer system. So at this point, are you okay with the explanation?
Yes.
Okay. So when we get into the internal component, we have the motherboard. Can you tell me something about the motherboard? What is its function? What does it do?
Like, I wouldn't say controls everything, but like,
What does it do?
um,
Oh, you've forgotten.
wait.
Try.
Like, it brings all the like components together.
Okay. So all the components connect on the motherboard. Okay,
Yes.
which is good. So your central processing unit will sit here, right?
Yes.
Then your memory, random access memory will sit there. And if you have a graphics card will also sit somewhere in a PCI slot on the motherboard, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we say that the motherboard is like the main root system inside a computer.
So,
Okay.
would you send me these slides?
Yeah, I can send it to you. That shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
Uh-huh. So the motherboard is like the main root system inside a computer. Okay. And it connects the brain of the computer, which is our processor or central processing unit. And sometimes people confuse the CPU with the system unit. The
Mm.
system unit is the case, which houses the internal component of the computer system. But in some books, you will see them referring to the system unit as a CPU, which is wrong. CPU is just that rectangular device that connects on the motherboard. Okay,
Okay.
good. Then we say that everything uses the motherboard to talk to each other. So without the motherboard, I don't think the computer will function. So I prefer to liken the motherboard as the heart of the computer. So if your heart is not beating, then it means you are dead. It's not pumping blood to all the essential areas of the human body. So that is the job of the motherboard to connect the other part and make sure they are all functioning. Okay? Then it is made from a strong piece of plastic. So on top of it are thin lines of metal, like tiny rows that carry electric signals. So those small signals that you can feel with your hand are what we call the bus lines. BUSLINES, bus lines. So they are responsible for connecting all the various parts of the computer system. So
Okay.
without the bus lines, then you have a computer system full of wires. Okay. So they use the bus lines to talk to each other. Does that make
Okay.
sense? Good.
Yes.
So the motherboard also has special slots and sockets like parking spaces where other parts of the computer can be plugged in. Okay. So we have the PCI slots, like I mentioned, the memory slot, you plug it in, then it works. You buy, let's say, a graphics card, you insert it into a PCI slot. You buy maybe a wireless adapter card, you insert it into a PCI slot. So without a motherboard, then you don't have a system. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So in your IGs, you see a question like this, what is the motherboard, and state the function, you should be able to do it and get a full score. Okay,
Okay.
good. Now let's look at the next one, which is the CPU or the what? Processor. So what can you tell me about the CPU or the
It,
processor?
it is termed as the brain of the computer.
Okay,
Like it processes. It's like it does all the calculation and like other stuff.
okay. So yes, calculations, yes, and other stuff. Okay, is that all? You remember?
Instructions and like
Okay, that's
um
fine.
yeah. And then wait, there's there's something else I'm forgetting. There's two parts I think.
Uh-huh.
There's
Yes.
something I don't remember it exactly.
But we've got two parts of it, which is
Yes.
good. So we will talk about it. Okay.
Okay.
So the CPU we say is the brain of the computer, and it follows instructions and makes sure things happen in the right order. So the two parts are the arithmetic and logic unit, which does the sums and makes decisions like a math teacher. So if you are using Microsoft Excel, you want to add cells, you want to perform some calculations, do some concatenations, or VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, and that is something we'll be looking at for your practical bits and even at the A level. Okay. Then we have the control unit, which tells other parts what to do, like the school head teacher. Okay. So it will say, okay, yeah, okay, bring this information, the rest, wait, it will get to your turn, wait. Aha, so more like a conductor, making sure things are what? Happening in the right order. It doesn't happen haphazardly. Okay?
Yes.
Good. Now we go to another interesting one, graphics card. What can you tell me about a graphics card?
Uh, it's like what allows you to see like what you're seeing on your computer. I
Okay,
yeah.
so it allows you to see pictures and videos,
Yes.
right? Yeah, so the
Yes.
graphics card is responsible for that. So within your laptop, we've got one embedded in there, but this one is for desktop. Okay, so it comes with its own fan. Then we have this going into the PCI slot. And if you look at this graphics card, we have HDMIs. So this one is using HDMI port to give you that high definition media or interface. Others you see VGA slot where you slot in your VGA cord. Okay. So we say that the graphics card
Is there
is,
like
yeah.
a difference between the HDMI and the VGA?
Yes, there is a difference because HDMI is more like a senior brother of VGA. So it's more like an advanced version. Okay. But we started with a VGA. But we'll get into all the details as we move along the lesson. Okay. Don't worry about it. We'll go in depth. So it has a mini brain. So the graphics also has its own mini brain like a processor. So there is a small processor attached to it. If
Okay.
not, the burden will be on the main processor, and we don't want to overburden the main processor with processing graphics and pictures. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then it also has memory to hold pictures and what videos. So whatever is happening on your screen, it is a mini processor and the memory in your what graphics card that is holding everything together. Okay, good. Then a fan or a cooler to stop it from overheating because it has a processor. You should have a fan. Without a fan, it will overheat and your system will just stop working or even crash or bang. Okay. Then we have wires and sockets to connect to the monitor or TV. So once you have a wire, HDMI, you connect to it. You can connect it to an external monitor. You can connect it to a TV with an HDMI port. Does that make sense? Good.
Yeah.
Or even connect it to a projector. Okay. So think of it as the art teacher in school. It makes everything look colorful and clear. So that is our graphics card. Is it okay now?
So when your quality is bad, does it like
Yes, it means your
like
graphics card is not functioning properly.
okay.
So sometimes you can upgrade your graphics card if it's not giving you the quality that you want. Okay,
Yes.
good. That's good. Let me know when you want me to continue.
You can continue.
Okay, good. Now we have our almighty sound card. Tell me about it.
It helps you hear the sound.
Okay. Then
Like
apart from hearing the sound, what else is it responsible for?
I don't think I remember.
Okay, but when you speak, I can hear you, right? So it is
Oh yeah.
still the job of the sound card to pick voices or sounds through the microphone. Okay, so there's our sound card. Then we can have speakers. You can connect to your Bluetooth or your headset. So it is the job of the sound card to process all the sounds coming in and out of your system. Okay.
So Seth, who created all of this?
We came to meet it. IT for you. So if you want to go into it, I think there's a field like that where you can go and be creating stuff like that, creating your own systems. Yes, we want to do that to become
I,
an engineer.
I don't know, maybe side job.
Side job. Okay, you want to make more money. That's good. So the sound card helps the computer play music and sounds through speakers or headphones. It can also record sound through the microphone. Okay. So imagine it as the music teacher helping the computer sing, talk, or listen. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Good. Now we go to another important internal component, which is the NIC.
Ah, this is the
Ah,
one I was forgetting.
aha, NIC. So if you forget and you have a friend called Nicholas or Nicola, when you remember NIC, you know that, oh, it's a network interface card. You have a friend like that.
No, but there's someone in my bus called Nicholas. So
Aha. So when you remember Nicholas, you know that, oh, that's network interface card. Okay. So we've got two options. So one that is wired, where we talk about the RJ45 connector. So this is the RJ45 port. We'll expand as we move on. And we've got one which is for wireless. Okay. So for desktop computers, we have this going into a PCI slot, this also going into a PCI slot to give you access to a network. And as we expand, we talk about the MAC address, which is an identifier for network interface card. Is that okay?
Yes.
So the network interface card lets the computer talk to other computers through the internet or a local network. And we are able to have this lesson through what? Our network interface card. So I'm able to connect to you from UK to Ghana for this lesson with the help of what? Network interface card. So if I don't have the network interface card, then this lesson will not be possible. I'll need to get a ticket, come to Ghana, have the lesson, fly back to UK, which will be expensive. And I don't have that money. So we see how it's going, how computers are helping us. Good.
Yeah.
So it can use wires or Wi-Fi or wireless. So if you go to a cafe and they give you a cable, which is the RJ45, you can slot it in, you get over the network, you do what you want to do. If it's wireless, you can connect to your hotspot. You can connect to any available Wi-Fi within your estate, and you're good to go, right?
Yeah.
So each NIC has its own unique ID number, like a what? A fingerprint, which I said the MAC address. So there is nowhere on this planet Earth that you have a network interface card with the same ID. Just
Okay, ever.
like just like the human beings, we don't have the same fingerprint. So it's just like the human being. And this is what we use to identify computers on a network. So if it happens that you have the same network interface card, there will be a conflict. And even identical twins have different fingerprint. Different fingerprint. Okay? So think of it as a telephone system in school, letting people send and receive what? Messages. So you go to Google, you browse, all of these has been made possible because of what? The network interface card. Without it, we don't have a network. Without it, we cannot communicate. Voice over IP, where you call on WhatsApp, hello, say, video conferencing, with the help of what? Network interface cards. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's look at another important component, which is the random access memory. So we have one for the desktop and one for the what? Laptops, but we'll expand it when we try to get the details, the SODIMMs, small outline, dual inline memory models, and all of that. But this is just a recap. So we'll get into the details later. Okay,
Okay.
good. So what can you tell me about the random access memory?
Um,
What does it do?
stores data, but like it's volatile. Yeah. Like
Okay, I like your word volatile. What is that? What does it mean?
when like the device is turned off, the data
Okay,
is
lost. Okay,
yeah.
okay, okay. That's good. Okay, so you still have it. So we say that RAM is the computer's short-term memory. Okay, so all that is happening now at the minute, it's the job of the RAM to hold it all together. So you have opened your browser, you're on Microsoft Teams, we're having this lesson, and I'm sure you've opened other applications on your system, but the browser is the active window. So the RAM is making sure that you have it. Once you close it, let's forget it. It's no longer in memory. Okay, good. Then once your computer shuts down and you restart, you need to start your browser connect with me via Microsoft Teams, then you can get back into the lesson, right? So it remembers things only while the computer is on. That is why we say it is volatile. Okay? So when the power goes off, it forgets everything. So think of RAM as your whiteboard in class. Write on it for the lesson, but it gets wiped later. Is this okay?
Yes. So I have a question though.
Ask.
You see websites, right? They have these things called cookies where it saves like your, what
Yes.
would you classify them as?
No, for cookies, it makes the browsing experience faster.
Yeah, but where
Okay.
does it store like the memory of your things? Like you know what I, because it stores
It
your,
stores it in a temporal folder. Okay. There is this mechanism within our web browser where it's saved. So that let's say if you want to go to google.com, it's more or less we have this term caching. So it more or less
yeah.
saves that particular web page, right? It doesn't go through the process of getting it for you again. So it will just give it to you quickly. Then later, when you need something, it will go and fetch it for you. So when we get into networking, then we will take our time to look at that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Good. Now let's look at the read-only memory, which is the what? ROM, read-only memory. And what is that? What can you say about this?
It's non-volatile
It's non-volatile. So why do you say it's non-volatile?
because it needs to keep permanent information that like the instructions needed to boot up the computer.
Okay. So what sort of instructions do we say within the ROM?
The ones you need to boot up the computer. Oh wait, uh, wait,
Uh-huh.
but you something. It starts with a B, but I don't know.
Is what?
It starts with a B or
B.
something.
ROM BIOS,
Aha, yes.
basic input output system. And within that, we have what we call the power on self test post.
Mm,
So it stores the basic instructions needed for the functioning of the computer system. So once you turn on your system, the ROM BIOS containing the post, okay, kicks in to check, do you have a processor? Do you have a
oh,
memory? Do you have an operating system installed on your SSD or your HDD? So if
mm,
all of these conditions have been met, then you to proceed to where you see welcome Layla, type your password, then you see your desktop. But if there is a problem, the computer won't start. Okay, so these instructions have been permanently stored, whether you have electricity or not. It is still there, unlike the RAM. That's why we say ROM is what? Volatile. Does it make sense?
yes,
Good. So it's the computer's long-term memory for important information that never changes. It stores instructions the computer needs to start up. Okay. Then it never forgets even when the power is what? Off. Okay. So think of ROM as the school rule book. It's always there and cannot be changed. But at least the school rule book, when it demands that they make changes, they will sit down and make changes. And we can
okay,
also make changes because technology has advanced. Okay,
yes,
good. Are you okay with this?
yes,
Okay. Any questions for me?
no,
Okay, good. Now let's look at our HDD hard disk drive and the senior brother solid state drive, which is what most people are using now because HDD tends to be slower than what? SSD. Okay, more like a
okay,
flash drive. So our hard disk drive is this flattest spinning disk, and it takes time to fetch what data But our SSD is like a flash drive. So you can quickly access data using that. That is why most computers now are moving into the word SSDs. Okay. So both are used for computers' main storage, where you keep your photos, your music, your games, and your programs. So you create folders, you download a movie, you put it in there. You have a project, you create your PowerPoint, you save it in a folder, somewhere on your computer, in your document, in your downloads folder, wherever you decide to what save. It's entirely up to you, but it is stored on the HDD or the what SSD. Is that clear?
Yes.
Good. So our HDD can be likened to an old record player with spinning what discs. Okay. Then
Okay.
SSD, which is the newer version, which is faster and has no moving parts. And that's like a USB stick inside the computer. Okay. So
Okay.
this is the computer's big cupboard where everything is what? Stored. Okay.
Okay.
Good. So now we've discussed the typical internal component of the computer system, which is the hardware, because that is what we are talking about. The parts we can touch, we can see, we can feel. Okay?
Okay.
We touch and we feel. So that is that for the internal hardware devices. So
Sir,
these are the, yes, ask your question.
would I be asked to identify this in IGCSEs?
Yes, you can be asked to identify. I sent you the workbook on WhatsApp. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yes, I have.
Yes, so tell mommy to print that out for you, then
Okay.
try to solve them. So as you do that, it reinforces the learning. Okay?
Okay.
Good. And so these are the questions. I'll need you to write it down, then you answer them. Okay?
Okay.
Then later you send it to Google Classroom for me to mark it for you. Okay?
Okay.
So I'll add you to the Google Classroom.
Okay. So can I not take a screenshot of
Yeah, you
this?
can take a screenshot.
Okay.
Yes, so now you are thinking in terms of IT. You don't want to suffer, but you still have to write anyway. So you take a
Yes, I'll write
yes.
notes when it's necessary.
I know, but for the purposes of the exam, I want you to write the question, then you
Okay.
answer because exam you are not going to type. You have to write. That's why I want to add you to Google Classroom. You write, then you take pictures of it, you upload it to the question, and I'll just mark it for you. Okay?
Okay.
So you can take your screenshot, then later you solve it.
Okay. I've already
Okay.
taken.
You've taken the screenshot?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. The next question, identify, then the last one, state two internal hardware components. So these are the questions. So take a screenshot of this as well.
Okay, I'm done.
Done. Okay. So this concludes our lesson on hardware. So what I will need from you is to also go back to the IG book I shared with you, okay, and read extensively. There might be certain things I did not touch on, which I think will be relevant to your studies. But this is just basically what we need to understand. Is that okay?
Yes.
End the lesson here. Then later I will meet you on Monday because we meet on Mondays and Wednesdays. So same time. Okay, I've added you to my calendar, so you should receive notifications, prompt reminders. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll add you to the Google Classroom. Bye
Okay.
bye.
Bye, sir. Have a great night.
Have a great evening. Yeah.